Hello, friends. It is Patrick here. I'm at the B-Team World News Quarters Head Desk. Hello, friends. It is Patrick here. I'm at the B-Team World Headquarters News Desk. It is a beautiful March 31st afternoon. Tomorrow is April 1st, and if you've checked out anything we've been putting out for the last little while, we're right knee-deep in the middle of what is going to be the wonkiest real estate data time period that we've had in modern history, simply because middle of March 2020 through April was when the market really just got knocked on its back and things sort of ground towards a halt. So next week, first week of April, beware the market data that's going to come out, because it's going to show March 2021 versus March 2020, and it's not going to make a whole lot of sense on the surface when you first look at it. For example, the first 2 weeks of March 2020, the number of sales were good. They were better than 2019 and 2018. They were way ahead, and they were on par with 2017. Not quite, but close. And 2017 was a monster month of March. The second half of March 2020, the number of sales absolutely stopped, and it was about half of what it should have been. So again, March 2021 is strong in its own right, simply because we're coming out of this pent-up time period, and it's going to be extra strong because 2020 was so weak. So it's a bit of a unique bird. So I just want to go through a few things with you real quick here. Okay, let's go into it. Okay, so first thing, stick with me. I know not everybody, true story, not everybody loves graphs, but I want to show you a few things that are going to illustrate what we've just gone through in March and then so far this year, Q1, the first quarter of 2021. So this graph here, this shows you the number of new listings in the month of March going back to 2011. So really it's 11 years in total for the Niagara region. And you can see how powerful 2021 March was with 1,550 ballpark new listings. That's 47% higher than the 10-year average for the month of March. That's huge, right? So this shows you the number of sales for the month of March 2021 compared to the other Marches going back to 2011. And again, 1,125 sales in the month of March. To put that in context, last year we had 8,000 and something sales for the whole year. That was the second highest annual number of sales in the history of Niagara at 8,000 and something. We just did 1,125 in the month of March. If you multiplied that by 12, well, you know. But anyway, that was 75% higher than the 10-year average. So new listings, supply, 47% higher than the 10-year average, which is great. Sales, 75% is absolutely outrageous. But that's another story. So next we're going to look at Q1. So the first 3 months of 2021, you'll see here new listings, same deal. 3,300 and something. For the first quarter of 2021, that's 25% higher than the 10-year average. Then when you look at sales, 2,450 for the first quarter of this year. Again, almost 60% higher than the 10-year average. What happened if you took the last 10 years and averaged it out? Almost 60% higher. So while new listing inventory is great, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45%, sales just keep astounding us with the volume of numbers that are happening. So that's the Niagara region. Next, we're going to look at St. Catharines. So I don't mean to be St. Catharines centric as far as the data goes, but it is the top producer of sales volume for the whole Niagara region. It's typically St. Catharines, Niagara Falls, and Welland. So we usually look at the larger producers, and that gives you sort of a quick sample size of what's going on. St. Catharines, the same deal as the Niagara region. So new listings in the month of March, 380 new listings. The average was around 270 something going back 10 years. So 32% higher new listings in the month of March 2021 than the 10-year average. When you look at sales, again, this is the month of March going back 2021 all the way back to 2011, so 11 years in total. If you look at sales, 290 sales. That's 55% higher. So yes, new listings 32% higher. I was actually hoping and thinking it was going to be more than 32%, but we didn't quite get there. 32% higher than the 10-year norm, and sales 55% higher. So that's not the balance we want to achieve, huh? So when you look at Q1, for new listings, 745 in the first quarter of 2021, 745. That's only 3% higher than the 10-year average. And we all know where this is going, because when you look at sales, 614 in the first 3 months of 2021, that's 35% higher. So you've got 35% higher number of sales, 3% in listings. And that's largely because the sales demand kept coming regardless of anything that was going on, and the new listing inventory or sellers were just a little bit reluctant, a little bit timid to jump into the market and put their home on the market for various reasons, which I can get to in a second. But that gives you the rough numbers for St. Catharines. Now, those same trends happen in Niagara Falls. They've happened in Welland, all the way down to the lower volume markets like Lincoln and Niagara Lake and that sort of thing. The same basic trends are happening where we have historically high number of sales, pretty good new listing inventory, in the positive in general. And then as a result, we're seeing a really competitive market, right? So that shows you what's happened in this first quarter and then in the month of March. So when you're going to see March 2021 versus March 20, those numbers are going to be exaggerated even further to levels that won't make sense. So I really, really strongly suggest people look at 5-year trends, 10-year trends, larger scale, than zoning right in on these two particular points of time, because it really is an apple and a tennis ball as far as comparables go, as far as data and really trying to draw something out of what you're looking at. So the big question we get these days is, where do things go from here? What happens next? Nobody can tell you with any certainty what that is, obviously, right? Because show me the person that predicted the last 90 days or 60 days or 120 days to you. I'd love to chat with him or her. But what we do know is that new inventory is improving. And I know, just in sort of taking a quick poll on other agents I've talked to at other brokerages, there's a lot of listing inventory on the books ready to go on the market. So we expect to see a typical spring opening up as far as that goes. The one caveat, if only there was an asterisk, I think I can put one there, is that we're waiting to see if there's a lockdown again, right? Because we're looking at potentially going back into a lockdown, and all that does is further exacerbate things, because that buyer demand continues to come. People are still buying homes, but there's less going on the market because of the lockdown. So it's a really tricky, bizarre, unique, one-off unicorn sort of time as far as real estate goes. So it's super tricky to figure that out, what the next 3 weeks, 4 weeks brings. New inventory is going to improve, I can tell you that. And so it's just a matter of time. We're really hoping it starts now. But lockdown aside, if lockdown does not happen, we're going to have a really busy April. So I think there's something to look forward to there. If you're on the buy side and you're trying to find something, I think you'll see the supply side open up and improve a little bit. If you want to keep track of the data, I'll put the website here. We have a market insight page on our website. We just updated it now with Q1 2021 versus Q1 2020 numbers for the entire Niagara region, for number of sales, number of new listings, and the average sale price year to date. So you can get a real quick read on things. And then we do update that every week or two on what's going on. So if you want to check that out, again, that website link is there. You can go have a look. We write blogs. We have articles coming out all the time. So again, check out the blog page on our website. There's lots of intel there. If you ever want to chat, if you have questions on the market, you want us to get out the crystal ball for your area or whatever, by all means, reach out. Super unique times. I realize now I've been swinging. I think I might have been doing this the whole time. I apologize if I made you seasick. Okay. So anyway, that is a wrap on the whole chat. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a warning on March 2021 data, April 2021 data. It's going to be pretty wonky. Okay, thanks guys. Take care. Hope to hear from you. Cheers. Bye.